Everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. Brian Good here. I have a lot to discuss, including data that pertains to those of you that are snow lovers and want to know what is going on and when could things change. I'll get to that in a second. First off, snowboard. Maybe a sprinkle or flurry on Thursday. It's probably not even enough to really put on the snowboard. Put it up there for now. I may change my mind tomorrow. And then around New Year's, potential system for a rain, snow mix, or any of these flurries. Too far out to say much more than that. All right. Otherwise, not likely for a white Christmas. This morning we dipped to 13th, the second time in Louisville for the fall season, the coldest we've been for the season. 7 right now in Seymour. We're up 1 degree in Louisville at 14. And we've had a few flurries around this morning, even a light dusting of snow in some spots, festive flakes, if you will. Arctic system are to begin to move in quickly across the northern Rockies, and that will be here in a very weak fashion in the middle of the week. But this is the one I want to talk about for Christmas. This is the Euro you were looking at. Now, there are signs here that we're going to see at least some moisture move in at some point on Christmas Eve. Then the warm front is showing up on several of the models. This is the Euro you were looking at. Rains it in Christmas morning, so instead of snow, you'll be waking up to rain and maybe temperatures in the upper 50s. But if that were to be the case, then that would allow for maybe a partly sunny sky Christmas afternoon, and that would really send the thermometer into record territory. The warmest Christmas ever, 68. That would happen easily. If that scenario like this were to play out. I doubt it will hold like it is now. It'll likely change a million times, but this is the general overview. And then we'll have to deal with the front. That'll move in at some point either the day after or the 27th. This does not look to be like the last one where you got the cold air catching up with it and the flash freeze risk and all that kind of stuff. It looks different. Here are the models, though, in case you haven't seen this before. We have the top row, the models that change often every so many hours, and then the ensembles at the bottom are a smoother idea of these models above. But GFS, Euro, Canadian. You see, as we head into Christmas Eve, we do have the warm front approaching the area. Notice, though, the Canadian a lot faster with the main low. It's already rolling it out into Iowa, while the Euro and the GFS keep it back still in the front range of the Rockies. The ensembles closely match that idea. Even the Canadian ensemble is not agreeing with its actual run. So I do think this is going to be a slower arrival. Then as we into Christmas morning, the warm front moves in. Again, we lose the Canadian operational model, but you can see the warm surge pumping into the area. The ensembles showing the same thing. Of course, if it's a more wrapped up, stronger low, it will be pushing that rain-snow line, the white line, way to the north compared to the ensembles. Ensembles never really pick that up until it gets closer. And then as we get into Christmas afternoon, we start to see some differences between the Euro and GFS here. The GFS is already starting to move the main low through the Great Lakes. The Euro is slowing it down and really digging this baby in, allowing for a really warm surge in our area. The ensembles do keep it back. So at the moment, the Euro has a better idea. And that's why the forecast is trending that way. And then as we into the 26th, 27th, the front moves into the area with some colder air moving into the region. And then as we get into the following week, status quo. I think the ensembles have it right. Average temperatures for a lot of the area. GFS is trying to bring another trough in, but I wouldn't pay attention to that far out. And as we into New Year's, signs again of another system working its way in, New Year's Eve. This one too may very well have a warm up potentially ahead of it. We'll see if that plays out or not. But I do think at least has a chance to give us at least a rain and snow, maybe some snow in the back end. The main reason why, though, we're going to see less in the way of snow potential in Arctic air is because the global pattern is going to change through the new year. Right now, we have very cold air in the northern United States, the Great Lakes, same thing over to Siberia. This is the displacement of the polar vortex. It breaks up into pieces. It's warmer right now in the North Pole than it is in parts of the United States. So, as we look forward, that cold air tries to get back where it wants to be, into the North Pole area. We don't have as much warmer air showing up. And when we see that happen, that allows then for ridges of high pressure across the Caribbean and the equator to really influence our weather a little more. So then at that point, we've really got to pay attention to two things. One, the PNA for the jet stream configuration for the Pacific, and we got to watch any blocking in the Atlantic. That will then be our determining factors. We can get some of that cold air to get worked into systems, but true cold Arctic attacks that dominate the United States are less likely to take place when you see this happen. When you look at the PNA now, it is forecast to go negative, which PNA being negative is usually a warm signal for us. Positive is a cold signal. So we had that positive rise here recently, and then the red is where it's forecast to go. And so when it went positive, we had these cold attacks. And now that we're dropping, that's where we got a warmer forecast beginning to show up. So a lot of you are saying, okay, well, that's it. Winter's done. If PNA is supposed to be positive, instead it's going negative. NAL, by the way, it's supposed to be negative to get us cold, snowy weather. it's trending positive, and the Arctic Oscillation is trending way positive, and it should be negative to get snow. All those are signs for a warmer pattern and not as much snow locally. And I know the snow people, snow lovers, I hear you guys. I'm getting texts from you guys. You're upset. I get it. But can you get snow even with that kind of a setup? Yes, you can. Let me explain why. First off, here's a look at the, first off, when everyone thinks of snow, a lot of people think of 1994. Hello, Rob. 1994 is a big benchmark snow event that a lot of you are familiar with. When we look at 1994, it was January 16th and 17th. It was a 2-day event into Martin Luther King holiday. If you look there, this is the actual PNA. It was negative at that time. Again, positive is usually cold and snowy for us. It was negative, where it's going to now. And it was negative for days before it as well. When you look at the NAO, again, negative numbers usually indicate snow. Positive numbers indicate warmer. Notice, again, positive values in the NAO all the way up to leading up to the storm. The Arctic Oscillation. This is where it is interesting. Now, when the storm hit, we then went positive. Really positive. Significant, in fact. But we were significantly in negative territory before that. I think, and this is a common theory a lot, that when the Arctic Oscillation, when the AO goes sharply negative and sharply positive, or the other way around, anytime you have a dramatic shift, you get a significant storm system that affects the United States. And in those cases, we have had a history of getting snow out of, including 1994. Again, the 1994 setup is very complicated and very odd, but it was a warm process that got us that snow, not a cold one. So, interesting stuff there, guys. It can still snow this kind of a pattern. It's just the atmosphere has a lot more work to do, and we're not going to see it in the models. We're just not. Not until it's very in the short range, okay? Those kind of events are short range details. It's otherwise, we're just have to take it a day at a time. Hang in there. Keep in mind, winter doesn't officially begin until Wednesday.